Today's League Lowdown brings us to the home of the Bundesliga to check out what Germany offers fans of Football Manager. A country of iconic landmarks and beautiful cities that play host to some of the world's biggest and most successful football clubs. This is a nation of stunning scenery and of festivals full of food, music and liquid refreshment. Home to great roads and great cars and great markets. But we're here for the football, and this is of course a country that has topped the global game many times. So let's take a look at the clubs that could provide the setting for your next Football Manager adventure in the League Lowdown Guide to Germany. Welcome back to another League Lowdown, and this time we're in Germany, a nation with 3 playable divisions for the fan of Football Manager. And before we get started, we'll give a huge shout out to Old Lady Plays, whose, let's say, playlist is always my guide when helping to pronounce these tricky foreign teams. We will put a link to Old Lady Plays' superb Football Manager YouTube channel down in the video description below, but without further ado, let's have a look at the league structure in Germany. Welcome to the top division in Germany. The Bundesliga was formed in 1963. Before that, Germany had 5 regional divisions where teams would qualify for a playoff to declare who the national champions would be. But from 1963 onwards, they adopted a national league structure, the top division of which has been known as the Bundesliga. Currently, there are 18 teams in it, creating a 34-game season, with the top team being the champions, the bottom 2 being automatically relegated, and the team that finishes 16th dropping into a playoff with the club that finishes 3rd in the Bundesliga 2, where the top 2 are automatically promoted. Down at the bottom, got the same relegation system. The bottom 2 drop out, and the team in 16th go into a playoff of their own to the 3rd place team in the 3 Liga, the bottom playable division in Football Manager, where the top 2 are promoted and the bottom 4 are relegated into the non-playable divisions in the game. So that's how the league structure works. Let's have a look at some of the clubs you could take charge of, starting with the defending European champions. And the club is, of course, Bayern Munich. If you want to take charge of a team that has been at the top of its domestic game over the last decade, then Bayern are the club for you. They are currently in pursuit of their 9th consecutive Bundesliga title. They've won 30 national championships in total, 29 of them during the Bundesliga era. On top of that, you can throw in 20 domestic cup wins, as well as a European Cup Winners' Cup and a UEFA Cup victory as well. But it's their 11 appearances in the European Cup or Champions League final that is their proudest achievement. 6 of those have been victories, including the most recent iteration of the tournament in 2020, and 3 victories in a row in the early 1970s with Franz Beckenbauer as the club's captain. As you would expect for such a dominant team, they have got eye-watering facilities, superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, good academy coaching, and excellent youth recruitment as well. You can see that if you are looking for a club equipped to compete not just domestically, but for Europe's top honours right from the start of the game, Bayern Munich are the club for you. But over the last decade, they've had a couple of clubs that have been pushing them pretty close. And the first of those clubs is Borussia Dortmund, a club from a region built on the industries of coal and steel. This is a club that is the 2nd most successful in Germany. They have won 8 Bundesliga titles, 2 under Jurgen Klopp in 2011 and 2012, as well as 4 German Cup competitions. They've also won the European Cup Winners' Cup back in the 60s. They lost a UEFA Cup final to Juventus in the 1990s, but just a few years later, they faced the same Italian opposition in the final of the Champions League and managed to beat the team from Turin 3-1 to lift Europe's top crown. They lost to Bayern in a later final in 2013 at Wembley, but again, this is a club that has got excellent youth facilities, excellent youth recruitment, good academy coaching, and for the first team, they've got superb training facilities and superb youth facilities. they will have some familiar names to fans of football in their roster. Some of them very young talents that you can develop, some that you could sell on for a lot of money. If you like the idea of taking charge of Bayern's closest challengers over the last 10 years or so, well, Borussia Dortmund are a club that you can build up. But there is a club that's provided an even greater challenge this season. So the team that have finished third in the Bundesliga over the last two campaigns are a relatively new addition to German football. It is RB Leipzig, with the RB in their title not standing for the popular energy drink company that's pumped so much money into the club, but actually standing for Rasen Ballsport, because the German Federation would not allow Red Bull to use their corporate title in the name of the club. This is a team that are currently second in the Bundesliga, reached the semi-finals of the Champions League last campaign, but very nearly were not based in the East German city of Leipzig at all. When talks broke down to buy the playing rights to a team from Leipzig, Red Bull started hosting talks with other clubs in Germany, starting with St. Pauli, Fortuna Düsseldorf, 1860 Munich, before all those clubs rebuffed their advances, and they eventually bought the playing rights to a team from the 5th division of German football who were based about 15 miles outside Leipzig, and so RB Leipzig were born. They are yet to win an honour in German football, but they have rattled their way up the leagues and established themselves as a force, not just domestically, but in Champions League football as well. They need a manager that's going to take them over that final hurdle and secure them their first bit of silverware. Maybe that manager could be you, or maybe you're looking to take charge of one of the more traditional names in German football. Well, if you are, Borussia Munchen Gladbach might be a team that, if you can pronounce them, you might like to take charge of. This is a club that has experienced success domestically and in Europe. They've won 5 Bundesliga titles, 3 in a row during the 1970s, but they've also won the UEFA Cup twice in the 1970s as well. In fact, they were finalists 4 times in the 70s, losing out to German rivals Eintracht Frankfurt and Liverpool in 2 of those finals, but beating Twente from the Netherlands as well as Red Star Belgrade to claim the title in 1975 and 1979. They've also got 3 German Cups, although you can see that 1995 German Cup is the last time Munchen Gladbach tasted glory. Maybe you're the manager that can bring the big time football back to Borussia Munchen Gladbach. Another club you could take charge of with a successful past and multiple Bundesliga victories are Stuttgart. Now, they've won the Bundesliga 5 times in total, as well as being 3-time German Cup victors. They don't have any European honours aside from winning the now defunct Intertoto Cup 3 times, but if you like the idea of taking charge of a club that's only just been promoted back to the Bundesliga for this season, well, Stuttgart are a club that you could build. You would have former Aston Villa and Everton midfielder Thomas Hitzlsperger as managing director of the club, and they are a team that certainly has the infrastructure and support base to be one of the big players in Europe. However, there are other multiple winners of the Bundesliga that you could take charge of, and this time we could visit a club that has won European silverware. This is Werder Bremen, who play at a 42,000 capacity arena. They've won the Bundesliga 4 times, the German Cup 6 times, and have also won the European Cup Winners' Cup. They won it in 1992 against Arsene Wenger's Monaco. That was a Monaco team that included the likes of Emmanuel Petit and George Weah, as well as having on the bench Yuri Djorkaeff and a very young Lilian Thuram. Werder Bremen have not won any of the top honours since 2009, but you could be the manager that might be able to steer them back to the big time. But they are not the only club that has multiple Bundesliga titles. Another multiple Bundesliga winner are Köln, who actually won the first Bundesliga when it was formed in the 1963-64 season. They won it again in 1978. They won the German national title in 1962. And they've also won the German Cup 4 times as well. No European trophies, although in 1965 they reached the quarter-finals of the European Cup before going out to Liverpool on a coin toss That coin toss even had to be replayed after the original tossing of the coin landed on the side of it. They've also got a UEFA Cup semi-final that they made before losing to Real Madrid, but they've never quite been able to win any of Europe's top honours. This is a club nicknamed the Billy Goats, who have a goat as their mascot that they wield before big games. If you like the idea of taking charge of a club with plenty of domestic success, but hungry for European honours, this could well be the club for you. Maybe next we should take a look at a couple of big names in German football that are moving in very different directions. Let's start with Wolfsburg, the team backed by car manufacturer Volkswagen, who don't have the most honours in their trophy cabinet. They won the German Cup in 2015, and they've got one sole German Bundesliga title that they won in 2009 with Felix Magath as manager and a young Edin Dzeko up front. But they're currently having a very good season this campaign. They're third in the league at the time of recording and look well set to win Champions League football this season. But a team that has won more honours than Wolfsburg is heading in a very different direction. Schalke may well be one of the most familiar names in German football, but Dortmund's rivals are currently welded to the foot of the Bundesliga table and look set to drop out of the top division. They have won the German national title 7 times, although none of them since the Bundesliga system came in 1963, although since then they've been runners-up 7 times. They've had more luck in the German Cup recently, winning it 5 times in total, 3 times this century, and they also won the 1997 UEFA Cup, beating Inter from Milan on penalties in the final. The best they've done in the Champions League was where they lost in the semis in 2011 to Manchester United, but this is going to be a popular save for FM21, where players are going to be rebuilding Schalke. If you like the idea of trying to save them before they get relegated out of the Bundesliga, well, they could be the club for you in FM21. Perhaps the final Bundesliga club we should take a look at are another team that have been perennial bridesmaids in German football. This is Bayer Leverkusen, a club founded by pharmaceutical workers in the city, and they have been runners-up in the Bundesliga 5 times and have never managed to win Germany's top honour. They have won the cup once in 1993, and they have won the 1988 UEFA Cup, where they beat Espanyol on pens. But perhaps their biggest heartbreak was when they made it all the way to the 2002 Champions League final before losing to Real Madrid in that final. How history could have been different if they'd have won their first top European honour, but maybe you are the manager that could come in and guide them to their first Bundesliga triumph. But maybe you don't like the idea of taking charge of a team in Germany's top division. If we drop down into lower league football, there's plenty of challenges for the player of football manager there too. So if we drop into Germany's second tier, there are plenty of clubs there that might fit the bill of being sleeping giants, such as Nuremberg, who've managed to win the Bundesliga title on 9 occasions, although plenty of those were quite early on in the last century. Or if we head to the city of Hamburg, we will find the competing forces of FC St. Pauli and perhaps their more dominant rivals of Hamburg, who've actually won the European Cup in 1983, as well as 6 Bundesliga titles. But maybe we want to drop right down into that bottom division to find some interesting challenges for our next football manager adventure. One of them might well be 1860 Munich, a club who are one of the founders of the Bundesliga rather than their city rivals Bayern. They have won the Bundesliga. They've done it just the once in 1966, and they've also won the German Cup on 2 occasions as well. But they now find themselves languishing down there in the 3rd tier of German football. If you want to take on a true restoration project, starting out in the bottom playable division in Football Manager and trying to take a club all the way to the top of the national game, 1860 are an interesting team that you might consider. Another founder of the Bundesliga currently languishing down in the 3rd tier is Kaiserslautern. This is a club that's appeared in 2 UEFA Cup semi-finals. In fact, in 1999, they made it to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. But they are now down in the 3rd tier. They won the German Cup twice in the 1990s. They've won 4 Bundesliga titles, the most recent of those in 1998. they won as a newly promoted team. It would be quite a project to take Kaiserslautern all the way back to the Bundesliga and challenge the big boys, but maybe that's the kind of project that you like. But if it's a restoration project that you are after, what about taking charge of one of the clubs in Germany's third tier that are formerly champions of East Germany? The team that won the East German Oberliga in its last season was Hansa Rostock. That's the only time they managed to win the East German title. They have been in the Bundesliga before, but they're currently in the third tier. Maybe you could steer them all the way back to the big time. The other team from East Germany that has multiple Oberliga titles is Dynamo Dresden. They have got no honours in the German game, but in East Germany, they won the Oberliga title on 8 separate occasions and competed in European competition as well. Maybe Dynamo Dresden are the team that you could take from the bottom of German football all the way back to the top and win them a Bundesliga title. So that completes the League Lowdown guide to Germany, a country that offers all kinds of clubs to the player of football manager, whether you want to take charge of the reigning European champions or a club from the third tier that you can guide back to glory. We'll see you soon when we'll make another country the focus of our next League Lowdown.